Hello, my name's Simonaz, and welcome to another Simonaz Guide video. Today, I want to talk to you about a farm I've been having a lot of fun with out in Icecrown in Wrath of Lich King Classic. I'm on my rogue here at the Cathedral of Darkness, and we're going to be using Fan of Knives to AoE down a bunch of elite cultists all at once. I love these AoE farms, they're super fun, a bunch of numbers on the screen, and then you get a bunch of loot. On my character, which is a tailor, I can make about 880 gold per hour on this farm. If we were to use a character that was not a tailor, we're going to make only about 760 gold per hour. And that's because we're killing humanoids, so the Northern Cloth Scavenging passive that you get from tailoring, where you get additional cloth, just means we're getting additional cloth from the farm, so we're making more gold. For this farm, we're going to have a special talent setup. And this talent setup is focused around dealing AoE damage with Fan of Knives and also increasing our avoidance, our dodge and parry chance, and like reducing incoming damage. In Assassination, we've got these talents, picking up, most importantly, the poison talents, the move speed, murder, and focused attacks is the really big one. This one is going to give us back energy every time we do critical strikes with Fan of Knives, allowing us to press Fan of Knives every single global cooldown. That's the most important thing we're going for in Assassination. In combat, there's a lot of filler talents that don't really help our main goal, but we've got to put points into the tree to progress farther down. The points that do help our main goal are dual wield specialization, deflection, endurance, close quarters combat, lightning reflexes, blade flurry, the expertise talent, and the vitality and adrenaline rush talent, kind of. We don't really need this additional energy when we've already got focused attacks going on. And our glyph setup is also very important. All three of these, I would say, are required to make this farm function properly. Evasion, Fan of Knives, and Sprint. The Sprint going faster is going to help us position the mobs at the beginning. The Fan of Knives is way more damage, and Evasion is going to buy us 5 extra seconds to allow us to kill these mobs. This is not something you can do on a fresh, maybe Nax Ramus geared character. You do have to have reasonably good gear, because you only have those 20 seconds of evasion to kill these mobs. If they're not all dead by the time evasion is over, they're probably going to kill you. Now, before we pull the mobs, we have to set up a couple more things. We're going to have to buff up. We want to have our dodge plus parry chance to be at least 45%. Combined with the 5% miss chance that equal level enemies have against you and 50% dodge from evasion, this is going to make us unhittable while we have evasion active. So we don't have that yet, so we're going to use Drums of Forgotten Kings, Drums of the Wild, and Scroll of Agility. And this gets me up to 47, so now I'm good on my avoidance stats. If I didn't have enough avoidance, I would use Blackened Dragonfin Agility Food, as well as Elixir of Mighty Agility for more dodge chance. But because I'm good, I will choose Flask of Endless Rage for more attack power and Mega Mammoth Meal for more attack power as well. Now, while we're preparing here, I want to switch out my Mjolnir Runestone and start a little timer. What this does is when I switch the trinket, it starts the trinket's internal cooldown, which means it can't trigger again for 45 more seconds. And I don't want it to trigger while I'm gathering the enemies up. I want it to trigger only once I'm ready to kill the enemies. So that's why we force it to be on cooldown so it can't trigger. And we're going to start here with a little throw on this Zealot. Sprint, turn around immediately, target the next Zealot, do another throw over there. We're trying to group up everything in this room, making sure it all aggroes, all comes in. Let them group up a little bit more, hit evasion, hit blade flurry. We kind of gradually move them around, keeping everything in front of us. We want to back up into one of these little corners, and now we can stand still and just mash Fan of Knives. While you're mashing Fan of Knives, you can try to, individual target one that has higher health. It's not like super necessary, but what else are you doing? And you see they're all dead and we're totally fine. Now I can loot everything pretty quickly with a combination of an add-on called Speedy Auto Loot, which cancels the loot window from popping up and just allows you to loot faster. And then I also have Interact with Mouse Over bound to Scroll Wheel Up and Scroll Wheel Down. So I'm just kind of mousing over, moving my cursor a little bit while moving the scroll wheel up and down like that. You can find that in the key bindings Under key binding settings, we have interact with mouse over. Mouse wheel up, mouse wheel down. Very good. Then I have a weak aura here that starts a 2-minute countdown timer when I leave combat. And this is going to help me know when to swap my trinket again for the next wave and the next respawns. In the meantime, we'll just heal up a little bit. My gear is pretty good. We got mostly Trial of the Crusader and Ulduar gear here. We're using Titansteel Spellblade with Berserking and Instant Poison, as well as Felstriker with Mongoose and Deadly Poison. I would put Berserking on Felstriker if I could. People ask this all the time. You can't put Berserking on Felstriker because it's too low level of an item. So the best thing you can put on it is Mongoose. Now we're going to wait for this to get to about 25 seconds left, and then we'll do our trinket swap again, and we'll wait for the respawns. They'll respawn throughout the whole room. We're making about 38 gold per clear. With tailoring, that's about 11.9 gold from cloth. We're getting about 10 gold of disenchant materials and about 16.7 gold from just the raw coin we're looting, as well as vendoring all the grays. This is averaged over a total of 69 clears. That's 48 clears with tailoring, 21 clears without. I thought that was a fair sample size to measure this. I did get extra lucky on some of those testing runs. I found 2 Signet of Edward the Odd, a damage necklace, as well as a super Simian sphere. Those are some, well, the Simian sphere you can't sell, but everything else is quite valuable. I didn't factor the value of the signets or the damage necklace into the gold per hour of the farm because I don't feel like that's fair. That's more just me getting kind of lucky. But, you know, you are killing a lot of super high level elites. You do this a lot, you're gonna get some cool stuff like that eventually. And you see, I'm kind of carefully moving, making sure none of the mobs get ahead of me or get behind me as I gradually move them back so I can have my back to a wall here, so now they can't get behind me and I don't have to worry about like continuously moving. Well, the candle kind of messes with my camera there, but that's okay. Down to just one left and he's done. There we go. This location is pretty close to Dalaran, so usually I'll just do this until my inventory fills up. I'll Hearthstone to Dalaran, mail away the cloth and the disenchant greens to my disenchanting alt, and then vendor everything else, and I can be back here in 3 or 4 minutes ready to clear the next wave. So emptying the inventory doesn't really even take that long. Now, we are selling a lot of this stuff on the auction house, so like if Frostweave cloth is significantly cheaper or significantly more valuable on your server than mine, you can have varied results. Like maybe you'll be making more than 880 gold per hour, or maybe you'll be making less if these goods are way cheaper. Another thing about this farm is you're out in the open world, you're killing high level elites and lots of them. If you wanted to, you could invite another player to your group, a low level player, summon them out here to Icecrown Citadel, and they can leech experience while you go about farming your gold. Depending on the level differential, they might not be gaining a whole lot of experience, but considering you're already just making a crap load of gold doing this farm, might as well get some experience as well. If you bring a low level character out here, you can get them killed intentionally right about here, and then when they're in spirit form, they'll be on a flying griffin, and they can come in here, stay on the flying griffin, and they can go all the way up to this little skull right up here, and then they can just plop down right there. They'll be totally safe, and they just stand there while you go about your business farming, and they'll leech additional experience. So that's something you can do with this as well. So that's basically it. As I was saying, I really like these AoE farms. I think they're a lot of fun. This is one that does have a bit of a gear requirement to be able to kill the mobs in the 20-second evasion duration. It is a little bit better if you are a tailor versus not being a tailor. All that being said, I think it's a great farm, and I think you should try it. If you want to see me learning how to do these farms and discovering them live, you can see that at twitch.tv/SimonizedShow. I stream gold farms, raids, and all the fun stuff I do in World of Warcraft. Or if you want to stay on YouTube, I do have a VODs channel on YouTube here at Simonized Show TV, which will be linked in the video description. You can find the week aura I put here, all my other UI stuff, and all that linked in the video description. So that's great. I hope you have a good day, and thank you for watching.